It's been 3 weeks since Hamilton Southeastern has played a basketball game, and tonight they'll resume their 2012-2013 schedule as they take on Hoosier Crossroads Conference foe in the Harrison Raiders. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Hamilton Southeastern High School for tonight's contest. My name is Brian Scott. Royals come in ranked number 6 in Class 4A. They will take on the Harrison Raiders as the Royals come in with a record of 8-1. Harrison comes in with a record of 5-2. As tonight, the Raiders come in with a record of 5-3. As we mentioned, it's been about 3 weeks since Hamilton Southeastern has played a basketball game. Their last game was back on the 15th. They defeated Zionsville that night. They played North Central back on the 15th. They defeated North Central by the score of 82-77. That was 3 weeks ago. We talked to Coach Brian Satterfield before the break, basically asking what he was going to do with all that time off. And he said, well, I plan on giving the kids at least a full week off to get their mind off of basketball, enjoy family, and get a break from the academics, and then get right back at it between Christmas and New Year. Get some practices in, get some inter-squad scrimmages in as well, and get ready to resume the schedule, as it'll be a full January for both the boys and the girls teams of basketball before sectional play begins in February. The Raiders come in with a record of 5-3. They are winless in the HCC with a record of 0-2. They have won their last 2 contests. They as well haven't played since back on before Christmas, or excuse me, I take that back. They played back on December 28th when they knocked off Western Boone by the score of 67-48. So not quite the layoff that Hamilton Southeastern had, but they still have had a bit of a layoff as well. Before we get you into our starting lineups and talk a little bit more about tonight's contest, let's have our national anthem. It's our national anthem as we get ready for basketball tonight here at Hamilton Southeastern High School, as the 6th-ranked Royals come in with a record of 8-1. They will take on the Harrison Raiders with a record of 5-3. Mike Reinhardt is the coach of Harrison. He is in his 2nd year at the helm of the Raiders. He has a record of 10-20, but the Raiders have gotten off to a decent start this year. They are a very senior-laden team, and as we give you the starting lineups in just a moment, they will start 5 seniors on their squad. Coach Reinhardt, as I mentioned, 10-20 in his 2nd year at the helm of the Raiders. Brian Satterfield, he is the coach of the Hamilton Southeastern Royals, a record of 184-75 in 12 years at the helm of Hamilton Southeastern. Harrison, on their last contest, they defeated Western Boone back on the 28th of December by the score of 67-48. And as I mentioned, Hamilton Southeastern, they last played on December 15th, 3 weeks ago, and that they defeated North Central by the score of 82-77. Over the last 15 years, this has really been a pretty tight contest, with Hamilton Southeastern winning 9 out of those 16 contests. And the last time these two teams met, you got to go back to January 6th of last year, and the Royals came away with a victory by the score of 62-45. Harrison still looking for their first win in HCC play. They are 5-3 on the season, winners of their last two. They come in tonight scoring on an average of just about a shy of 52 points per game, while giving up more than 46 points per game. While Hamilton Southeastern has won their last 5 in a row, they are 3-0 in HCC play. They score a little over 67 points per game and give up a little over 58 points per game. Let's go ahead and give you our starting lineups for tonight's contest, as both teams are currently out on the court warming up. As I mentioned, for the Harrison Raiders, this is a very senior-laden team, and all 5 starters are seniors. Starting at a guard is a senior, Bobby Rogers. He is their leading scorer. This is a very balanced team. Again, as you can tell by the amount of points they score per game is coming into this contest. I mentioned that Harrison was scoring only a little shy of 52 points per game, but it is usually very balanced throughout. Their leading scorer, Bobby Rogers, just shy of 10 points per game. He starts at one guard. Starting at the other guard, senior Jacob Payne, scoring a little over 6 points per game. At forward, senior Cole Smith comes in tonight. He averages 8 points per game. Jacob Brewer is the other forward, another senior. Jacob Bauer, he scores a little over 5 points a game. And the center is Noah Thomas, as he comes in scoring about 6 points per game. So in the backcourt, it will be Rogers and Payne, and up front, Smith, Bauer, and Thomas. Those are the starters for the Harrison Raiders. For the Hamilton Southeastern Royals, well, it's pretty much been the same starting lineup that Coach Brian Satterfield has put out there for much of this season. The only exception usually has been a changing at one of the forward positions. Starting tonight at the guard is a 6'1 senior, Paul Furl, and Paul comes into tonight's contest averaging about 6 points per game. At the other guard is a 6'2 junior, Tyler Jenkins. Tyler almost 10 points per contest. At the other guard is a 6'1 junior, Eric Davidson. Eric, second leading scorer on the team, averaging a little over 10 points per game and shooting 43% from beyond the arc. At a forward is a 6'8 senior, Zach Irvin, leading the team with over 25 points per game and just shy of a double-double, just under 10 rebounds per game. And the other forward tonight getting the start will be Ross Risley, a 6'4 senior. Ross comes in averaging just shy of 6 points per game. And in his games, he's averaging about 4 rebounds per contest. Hamilton Southeastern, again, comes in tonight's game averaging just a little over 67 points per game. They're a 73% free throw shooting team, and they're also manning the boards fairly well, averaging a little over 28 rebounds per game, while leaving the turnovers about 11 per game and 15, almost 16 assists per game. So they do a good job of moving the ball around. For Harrison, again, their weak spot is usually on the offensive end. They are not one of the better free throw shooting teams at a little over 62%. They average about 25 rebounds per game, and they turn the ball over, average about 14 turnovers per game. So that's our particulars as we get ready for tonight's contest between the Hamilton Southeastern Royals, ranked number 6 in Class 4A, and the Harrison Raiders with a record of 5-3. Raiders still looking for their first win in the HCC. Royals looking to keep their spot on top of the HCC standings. They're currently with a perfect 3-0 record in the HCC. Royals will be in the home whites, and the Raiders will be in the navy blue as the teams greet each other. For those of you that have been watching basketball for a long time, the handshakes are gone. It's the fist bumps now. Ross Risley will jump center for Hamilton Southeastern, and Jacob Bauer will jump center for the Harrison Raiders. The ball is in the air. It'll be tucked into the backcourt, and Bobby Rogers will bring it into the front court for the Raiders. And they'll begin this basketball game with the first possession. Dribbling left side, Jacob Payne cut off by Tyler Jenkins. As the Raiders look to move it around on this man-to-man defense employed by Hamilton Southeastern, and now Bobby Rogers throws the ball away, looking to get the ball into the hands of Cole Smith. And the first turnover is at the hands of the Raiders as they employ a man-to-man defense against the Royals. As with the basketball, Paul Furlan. Right side is Zach Irvin. He's picked up by Jacob Bauer. Left side, Furlan for three. That's off the flange. No good. Ball tipped and finally controlled by Jacob Payne of the Raiders. Just underway in this varsity contest. No score. Brian Scott with you from Hamilton Southeastern High School. As I mentioned, Royals have been a bit of a 3-week layoff. We'll see how they come out, whether there's any rust on the Royals. Noah Thomas gives the ball over to Bobby Rogers, their leading scorer. And now into the hands of Cole Smith. Smith, nice find as Rogers cuts baseline, and Rogers has the first points of this game as it is a 2-0 Harrison advantage. 3-ball, though, is on the way, and we mentioned Eric Davidson is hitting threes at just shy of a 50% clip. Very dangerous from beyond the arc, and Eric puts the Royals on top with that 3-2. Rogers with the basketball as they'll swing up top to Cole Smith. Smith to Thomas, guarded by Risley. Back over to Smith. Smith drives, gets it up, blocked from behind by Ross Risley. As going up with the basketball, Cole Smith. Risley there to knock it away, but the ball off of Risley will belong to Harrison. Just a little over 2 minutes gone in this contest. Hamilton Southeastern with a 3-2 lead. Rogers with the basketball. Goes left side. This is Jacob Payne. Payne gives the ball up over on the far side to Smith. Almost lost the ball. The drive's in the lane. This is Jacob Bauer, and Bauer with the layup puts the Raiders back out on front, this time by the score 4-3. Eric Davidson, who just hit that three, he has the lone bucket so far for the Royals. And we'll give it to Zach Irvin. Ball poked away, but the Royals able to just get it back. Jenkins able to get it before it goes into the backcourt, and then Tyler finishes it off himself. And the Raiders will quickly bring it into the front court. And a foul will be called against Hamilton Southeastern. Raiders do like to run. They will get up and down the court as fast as possible. They will turn the ball over a few more times than their opponent, but they try to get up and down the court as fast as possible. Bobby Rogers with the basketball, gives it to Jacob Payne. They go right side. This is Cole Smith. Back up top. Rogers works on Furlan. Step back jumper, no good. Zach Irvin with a rebound. Royals bring it back the other way. Furlan to Davidson. Thought about a three. Instead gives it to Zach Irvin. Long range three. Top of the key. Up and good. Zach Irvin's first bucket is a three from the top of the key. And the Royals double the margin on the Raiders by the score of 8-4. 4:33 left to go in this opening quarter of play. Smith with the basketball, tries to get it into the hands of Jacob Payne. Tyler Jenkins stole it for a moment, but then lost it out of bounds, and the ball will stay down in the Raiders' front court. Harrison trails by 4 as we approach the midway point of this opening quarter. Thomas takes the inbound, guarded by Ross. One dribble, picks it up, gives it up to Bobby Rogers. Rogers right side, Smith up top. And once again, Thomas at the free throw line. Good defense by Risley. Nowhere to go. Now kicks it back out. Cole Smith, right elbow. Looking for somebody to pass the ball to. Finally gets it to Jacob Payne. Payne trying to give it to Thomas down in the blocks. Loses the basketball. Davidson to Irvin. Irvin's three is short. And the rebound comes down to Bobby Rogers of the Raiders. We remain at 8-4 with 3:47 left to go in this first quarter of play. The Royals take the court for the first time in 3 weeks, as I mentioned. Ball almost lost, still on the court, but picking it up is Jacob Payne to bring it back into the front court. Substitutions on the next dead ball for both squads. Rogers, left side. This is Smith, guarded by Davidson. Goes right side to Payne. Payne back out to Rogers. Raiders being patient in their offense. Left side with the basketball is Bauer. Bauer down low to Thomas, and Thomas finishes off as Noah Thomas has his first points, and we're going to have a timeout called. With 3:01 remaining in this opening quarter of play, Harrison trails the Hamilton Southeastern Royals by the score of 8-6. This is Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. I want to remind you, tomorrow we have a full day of Hamilton Southeastern basketball for you on ASO. We'll begin with the ladies as they will travel to Lafayette to take on the McCutcheon Mavericks. JV game will begin at high noon with the varsity game set to begin at 1:30. And then yours truly will leave Lafayette on his way to Muncie as Brian Satterfield's squad will take on the Muncie Bearcats at Muncie. JV game scheduled to begin at 6, varsity at 7:30. We will do our best to try to make it there in time for the start of the JV game, as we will have a long ways to go from Lafayette to Muncie at the conclusion of the girls' game. Tyler Janney now into the contest for Brian Satterfield, as well as Wade Traeger. The Traeger and Janney in. Here's Zach Irvin. Oh, stutter over to Traeger, back to Janney, over to Irvin once again. Left side to Davidson, feeds down low. This is Justin Barksdale now into the game. Traeger to Davidson. Davidson thought about the long-range three, and he can hit from just about anywhere. Irvin in the lane, hop step, pull-up jumper, no good. Ball's loose, goes out of bounds, and they'll say it touched a Royal last, and it'll belong to Harrison. So Justin Barksdale, Tyler Janney, and Wade Traeger all into the contest right now for Coach Satterfield. The last game against Zionsville, here's a steal by Tyler, and Janney will finish it with a layup. And that was one of the things that Coach Satterfield said gave Tyler a bit of a leg up in that game in Zionsville, as he played quite a few minutes in that second half. And Traeger will be hit with his first personal foul. Tyler with some excellent defense in that Zionsville game, much like we just saw there with the steal and the layup. It makes it a 4-point lead for Hamilton Southeastern as we approach the 2-minute mark. Nice little pump fake by Mark Houston now into the game for Harrison. He gets his first bucket, and the lead's been cut to 2 for Southeastern at 10-8. Wade Traeger seeing early minutes in this contest as he's now on the court. Davidson to Barksdale. Barksdale finds Irvin. Irvin can't finish it, but he's going to earn a trip to the line. Good find by Justin as he finds Zach Irvin weak side. And the foul will go against Zeb Halsema, now in for Coach Mark Reinhardt's Raiders. And Zach Irvin with a pair of free throws hits the first of 2. Zach, a 75% free throw shooter, as Keegan Culp now in for Hamilton Southeastern. Second free throw rattles around but falls out. Irvin now with 4 points and a 3-point lead for the Royals. Cole Smith back into the contest. They give it up top to Talon Sondergrath. Sondergrath with the ball at the right elbow, kicks it out left side. Zeb Halsema with it, gives it back to Cole Smith. Smith with the basketball once again as we approach the 1-minute mark left to go in this first quarter of play. Houston with the basketball. Skips over from about 18 foot out. Shot is up, shot is good by Zeb Halsema. And it's a 1-point Southeastern lead. Here's Culp from the left elbow. Shot no good. Houston with a rebound for the Raiders. And the Raiders in this final 42 seconds, we'll see if they can hold for the final shot. They trail by a point. Cole Smith to Songarath to Houston. Back up top, Bobby Rogers, guarded by Wade Traeger. Cole Smith will take it. 25 seconds remain in the quarter. Smith gets a double team, throws it away, looking for Houston instead into the hands of Justin Barksdale. Irvin tries to do a skip pass into the lane to Keegan Culp. It's knocked away by the Raiders, and the Royals have the possession. Barksdale and Irvin will leave as Chris Ford and Tyler Jenkins return. Bobby Rogers will also leave as Jacob Payne is back in. They'll throw it into the backcourt to Tyler Jenkins with 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. Left side, this is Ford. 4 seconds remaining. Losing the ball was Tyler Janney. Ball is still loose, and that's the end of the first quarter. Coach Mark Reinhardt looking for the held ball. I think in retrospect he's going to be glad that they didn't. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because in retrospect, had they gotten the held ball, the ball would belong to Hamilton Southeastern with only a second or two left, and then it would have flipped, and that would have meant the Raiders would have began the second quarter with possession of the basketball. As it is, it's going to be Hamilton Southeastern. We've played a quarter here at HSE, and the Royals lead the Raiders by the score of 11-10. This is Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. Brian Scott back with you from Hamilton Southeastern High School as we are just about ready to get second quarter action underway. Royals with an 11-10 lead. 4 points for Zach Irvin in that first quarter. And as we mentioned for Harrison, balanced scoring with 5 players with a bucket each. That's their 10 points. I said at the end of the first quarter there was Mark Reinhardt looking for the held ball. And in reality, I think he's going to he actually did wish that he would have gotten that call, as the Raiders would have had the Royals with only about a second left of a possession, and the Raiders would have had the ball to begin the second quarter. But as we drive through the lane, we're going to have a player control foul called against Hamilton Southeastern. The basket will not count, and Chris Ford will pick up his first foul. And the third team foul against Hamilton Southeastern. Bobby Rogers will come back in for the Raiders. He'll take over for Zeb Halsema. Raiders into the front court. They trail by 1, looking to take a lead, but the ball is loose. Still on the court, still down on the court, and finally it's controlled by the Raiders. Ball all over the court. Cole Smith now has it baseline, tried to feed it to Songarath. Lost it for a moment. Now here's Tyler Jenkins with a steal. Behind the back wrap. Fancy play to Zach Irvin, but it's Irvin who would have finished it. In the end, it's a blocking foul that's going to be called against the Raiders. It will go against Jacob Payne. That's his first, team foul number 2 against the Raiders. Irvin will trigger the inbound in front of the scorer's table. Tyler Jenkins with the basketball. Right side, Zach Irvin. Irvin, a little hesitation dribble, tried to feed it into Chris Ford. Ball is loose on the court, and the Raiders will have the basketball on the alternating possession. We've played 50 seconds of this second quarter. We still remain as we did at the end of the first quarter, 11-10 in favor of the Royals. Raiders with the basketball as Ford leaves, and Paul Furlan comes in for Hamilton Southeastern. Here's Cole Smith. He gets the double team. Rogers with a layup, but Zach Irvin recycles it. Here come the Royals. Good ball fake by Eric Davidson. Feeds to Risley, back up top. Tyler Jenkins for 3, a little short. And as we go up for the rebound, we'll have a foul called against Hamilton Southeastern. It'll go against Ross Risley. That'll be his first, 14 foul called against the Royals. Jacob Bauer now back in as they go right side and get the ball into the hands of Rogers, who now gives it to Cole Smith. Smith leaves it to Noah Thomas. Thomas has his shot recycled, and Smith ends up with a basketball. Raiders move the ball around. Here's Thomas back at the top of the free throw line, and he'll give it to Rogers, who'll give it to Cole Smith. So far, good defense by the Royals. Here's a strip by Davidson, but Cole Smith picks up the loose ball, and now Tyler Jenkins is going to be called for the foul as Smith drove through the basket, and Tyler still moving. They will wave off the shot and say the foul occurred on the floor. First foul against Tyler Jenkins, 15 foul against Southeastern. 6:14 remains in this first half. We remain with the Royals with an 11-10 lead. Inbound play to Jacob Payne, to Rogers, back to Payne. Bauer left side to Rogers. Rogers guarded by Furlan. We played 2 minutes into this quarter, still looking for our first point. Bauer's pull-up jumper is short. Thomas went to get the ball and knocked it off of Tyler Jenkins' head, so it'll be the Raiders basketball. Cade Reneker now in for the Raiders. He will take over for Jacob Payne. 5:57 left to go in quarter number 2. We still have not had any points scored in this quarter. Rogers will take the inbound. He'll give it to Reneker. Reneker to Smith. To Thomas in the paint, back out. Here's a 3 ball by Reneker. Shot no good. Irvin with a rebound. Zach through the lane, loses the basketball, but there's Eric Davidson. Pull-up jumper from 14 feet is good. Eric with 5 points, and we'll have a timeout called, a full timeout with 5:36 left to go in the first half. Hamilton Southeastern 13, Harrison 10. This is Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. I want to remind everybody watching tonight's contest that all games that we broadcast with video here on Audio Sports Online are available on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, look up Audio Sports Online. You can catch all the games that we have done via video. Share them with your friends. Send them, post them on Facebook. Share them through Twitter. Send them via email, all courtesy of Audio Sports Online. Of course, all broadcasts of Hamilton Southeastern Athletics that are on Audio Sports Online are also available from our own homepage at audiosportsonline.net via audio or video. And that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year as an on-demand podcast, all courtesy of Audio Sports Online. 6th-ranked Royals have a 3-point lead against Harrison. The score 13-10. Brian Scott with you on a Friday night. First Friday of 2013. Hope everybody had an enjoyable holiday, and we wish everybody a very happy new year. Out of the timeout, Eric Davidson, Paul Furlan, Zach Irvin, Tyler Jenkins, Ross Risley. That's the starting 5 for Coach Satterfield, and they'll employ man-to-man pressure out of the timeout. Bobby Rogers gets the ball in the front court. It's knocked out of bounds by Southeastern. Jacob Bauer will trigger the inbound, throw it into the backcourt to Rogers. Raiders still looking for their first points in this second quarter. Thomas with the ball to Reneker. Reneker guarded by Davidson. They give the ball to Bauer. Bauer lost it for a moment into the hands of Payne. Payne throws it away. Ball still loose. And in the end, Eric Davidson comes away with it. Eric left side. Tyler Jenkins goes baseline, throws it up, and throws it in. Jenkins with 4 points, and the lead's up to 5. And as the Raiders bring it into the front court, it'll be poked out of bounds by Hamilton Southeastern, and we'll keep it down at the Raiders' end. Royals with a 5-point lead. Both teams sluggish to begin this second quarter. And the ball tipped, but Rogers comes down with it. He goes underneath, and he gets the ball to Bauer. Bauer gets Ross Risley flying through the air, and Risley, as he comes down, makes contact with Bauer, and Risley will commit his second personal in the 16 foul against Hamilton Southeastern. Jacob Bauer to the line, a 56% free throw shooter, and first one hits back iron and comes back out. Nick Wethington into the lineup. He'll take over for Ross Risley. Talon Songarath also back in. Both free throw shots missed by Bauer. It remains a 5-point Southeastern lead with 4:43 left to go in the first half. Eric Davidson gets around a Wethington screen. Pull-up jumper, top of the key, little short. Rogers with the rebound. And we're going to have a foul called against Harrison on the rebound as Talon Songarath will pick up his first personal. 13 foul against the Raiders. Jenkins triggered the inbound from the baseline, gets it to Paul Furlan. Furlan finds Zach, and Zach will back it up. Zach Irvin drives to Davidson, wide open three on its way, in and out. Halfway down, came back out. Bobby Rogers with a rebound for the Raiders. They'll get it to Reneker, and Reneker up top to Bauer. Bauer right side, this is Jacob Payne. Up top to Songarath, and back into the hands of Rogers. At the midway point here in the second quarter, a 5-point Southeastern lead. Both teams very sluggish on offense. The 3-week layoff seems to have affected the Royals, but also the Raiders aren't doing much better. Here's a drive to the hoop by Payne. His shot's no good. Songarath's putback is no good, but he's going to earn a trip to the line as the foul's going to be called on Nick Wethington. That's his first. 17 foul. That'll put the Raiders in the bonus as Songarath heads to the line. Only a 20% free throw shooter on the season. Misses the first of two. Cole Smith will return. He'll take over for Reneker. Harrison in a game against Avon earlier this year, a game that could have had a lot of a much different turnout. Eventually Avon went on to blow Harrison away in the second half, but a lot of missed free throws by Harrison in that contest, and they're starting this game off about the same. Irvin left side into the hands of Tyler Janney. Janney to Wethington, and Wethington has his pocket picked, and the Raiders will come back the other way. Songarath goes back up top to Payne. Payne back to Songarath, tries to give the ball to Smith. Smith has it bounce off. Bounce pass by Davidson. Davidson saves it to Tyler Janney. Janney hesitation, gives it to Irvin. Irvin from 12 feet. Shot bounces around, no good. Songarath with a rebound, gives it to Bobby Rogers. Rogers meets Tyler Janney. Janney is going to be called for the reach-in. For Tyler, that's his first, but it's the 18th foul, so the Raiders will head to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. Justin Barksdale returns for Hamilton Southeastern. He'll take over for Tyler Jenkins. Rogers to the line, a 62% free throw shooter on the season. Getting his first trip to the line tonight. First hits the first one, he'll get the bonus. That's the first points for the Raiders here in this second quarter, and it comes from the charity stripe. Rogers hits them both. He has 4 points. Zeb Halsema will return. He will take over for Jacob Bauer. And Wade Traeger is going to come in for Coach Satterfield, and he will give Zach Irvin a breather. Zach with 4 points. Again, both teams very shaky on the offensive side. Maybe the rust of the layoffs really showing. Raiders still looking for their first bucket from the field in this second quarter as Traeger with the basketball. Dribbles left hand, drives, lays it up with a right, and puts it in. Nice move and a nice drive by Wade Traeger. He has his first bucket. It's a 5-point Southeastern lead with 2:50 remaining in this first half. Trapped on the corner was Jacob Payne, but he gets the ball out to Cole Smith. Smith finds Payne driving, blocked by Barksdale. And the outlet pass by Wethington for Eric Davidson is too long. It'll go out of bounds. And the ball will go back to the Raiders. Zach Irvin, quick breather. He comes back in. And he'll take over for Nick Wethington. 17-12, that's our score. 2:33 remains in this first half of play. There's the Raiders and the Royals. They get the ball to Songarath across the midcourt stripe. Here's Rogers. Rogers to Payne. Payne to Songarath, and a player control foul is going to be called against Talon Songarath. Second personal foul against Songarath. Songarath, second, team fourth. Songarath will leave. Noah Thomas will return. And coming in now for the Royals, Keegan Culp, as he will give Eric Davidson a breather. Royals with a 5-point lead. 2:16 remains in this first half. Barksdale to Irvin. Both teams have been playing man-to-man throughout. Right side, Janney into the hands of Traeger. Janney with the basketball, drives in the lane, takes it, splits the defenders, misses a shot, gets his own rebound, tries to scoop it to Barksdale. Barksdale couldn't get it, but there's Zach Irvin to pick it up and put it in. 6 points for Irvin as the Raiders quickly get it into the front court, trailing by 7. And now here's a steal by Irvin. Irvin up, flushes it with a right hand, count the basket, and send him to the free throw line. Coach Mark Reinhardt not in agreement, but Bobby Rogers will be called for the personal. Tyler Janney will leave. Paul Furlan will return, and before Irvin shoots the free throws, we'll have a timeout. 1:42 left to go in this first half. Royals with their biggest lead of the night. They lead by 9, 21-12. This is Royals basketball on ASO. A minute 42 remains in this first half. Southeastern with their biggest lead of the night, 21-12, as they have outscored the Raiders 10-2 in the quarter. As Harrison has yet to make a field goal in this second quarter. Their lone points, a pair of Bobby Rogers free throws. Meanwhile, Zach Irvin off the steal, flushed it down with the right hand. Bobby Rogers committed the foul. And Zach, out of the timeout, will be headed to the line to try to complete the three-point play. Out of the timeout, it will be Keegan Culp, Wade Traeger, Paul Furlan, Zach Irvin, and Justin Barksdale. With Irvin at the line to try to complete the three-point play. Zach 1 of 2 from the line so far in this game, and he sinks it. 9 points for Zach Irvin as they straighten up the net. On the court right now for Mark Reinhardt, Bobby Rogers, Cole Smith, and as they lob it in, Jacob Bauer does. Noah Thomas, as Rogers will take it all the way. Thomas with a rebound, and we'll have a whistle underneath. As we mentioned, Bobby Rogers, Jacob Payne, Cole Smith, Jacob Bauer, Noah Thomas. That's the starting 5. Or excuse me, not Jacob Bauer, Zeb Halsema. In the meantime, shooting a pair is Noah Thomas, and he hits the first. And now Jacob Bauer will come in. He'll take over for Zeb Halsema. One more free throw coming up for Noah Thomas. Second free throw is short, and Barksdale has the rebound for the Royals. He will get it up to Keegan, back over to Justin, into the hands of Paul Furlan. 1:27 left to go. First half, 22-13 Southeastern with the basketball and the lead. Here's Zach Irvin for three, too strong. Coming down with a rebound and getting it is Keegan Culp. Mark Reinhardt looking for the travel, didn't get it. Cross court to Traeger. Traeger in the lane, throws it up, doesn't get the bucket. And we'll have a foul called against Wade Traeger, player control foul. His second. 10th team foul. Raiders will be in the double bonus for the remaining 1:09, but no free throws on the player control foul. Traeger leaves as Tyler Jenkins returns. And the Royals will put some pressure. Thomas to Bauer. Less than a minute left as they go down low to Thomas. Thomas goes straight up, misses the shot, put back no good, and Culp comes away with a rebound as Thomas misses two close shots. Into the hands of Jenkins, but he loses it, and then trying to get it up the court was Jacob Payne. He loses it out of bounds as well, and we'll give the ball back to Southeastern as they will inbound it in front of the scorer's bench as Zach Irvin triggers the inbound. 44.6 seconds left, a 9-point Southeastern lead. Jenkins with the basketball. Flips it over to Irvin. Zach, 5 points here in the quarter, 9 points in the contest. And Zach will just pound the basketball and wait for the Raiders to come meet him, so the Royals will play for the final shot of the quarter and the half. It's a 9-point Southeastern lead. Under 18 seconds remain as Raiders are content to let them go. Now they'll move it in motion with 10 seconds. Here's Zach Irvin on the ISO. Pull-up jumper is good. 3 seconds remaining. Raiders come. Bobby Rogers for three is off the side, a little strong, and that's the end of the first half of play. Hamilton Southeastern will head to the locker room with their biggest lead of the night. They lead by 11. It's Hamilton Southeastern 24, Harrison 13. Check back with us in about 6 minutes. We'll have halftime stats. This is Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. Halftime at Hamilton Southeastern High School as the 6th-ranked Royals lead the Harrison Raiders by the score of 24-13. Take a look at the Hoosier Crossroads Conference while we have a moment as January comes. We're going to see a few more HCC matchups. Big one will be a couple of big ones coming up, and of course, next home game for Brian Satterfield's squad will be next Friday, right back here at HSE. They'll take on first-year coach and former Butler standout Ronald Noret's Brownsburg Bulldogs. As we look at the HCC, of course, standing at the top of the standings with an 8-1 overall record and a 3-0 conference record are the Hamilton Southeastern Royals, winners of their last 5. The McCutcheon Mavericks, they are in second place, a strong 7-2 overall record and a 1-0 conference record, winners of their last 2. Fishers is 7-4 on the season, 2-1 in conference play. Their lone loss opening night right here against Hamilton Southeastern, but the Tigers have won their last 2. Avon has had some strong teams over the past few years, but right now Coach Jason Young's team is just that. They're a young team, and they're 5-5 on the season, 2-1 in conference play. Noblesville, always a tough place to play, 5-3 on the year, 1-1 in conference play. Westfield also 5-3 on the year and 1-1 in conference play. Zionsville 6-3 on the year as they had a strong start, and then they were upset by the Brownsburg Bulldogs and followed up by a loss to Hamilton Southeastern. The Eagles are now 1-2 in conference play. Brownsburg 2-6 on the season, and they are 1-2 in the conference. They have lost their last 4 games. Harrison, who the Raiders or the Royals are seeing tonight, 5-3 on the season, 0-2 in conference play. And Lafayette Jefferson rounds out the conference, 3-7 overall, 0-2 in conference play. They have lost their last 4 contests. Since before the Christmas break, not a whole lot of action. Avon lost to Carmel back on December 28th, 73-63. It was Harrison defeating Western Boone on the 28th, 67-48. North Central defeated Fishers after losing to Hamilton Southeastern, 78-71. Only one day with a whole lot of action. That was December 29th with a lot of there was a lot of conference a lot of tournaments, going on. McCutcheon defeated Crawfordsville 64-40. Noblesville 70. South Bend Adams 67. Hammond Knoll 53. Noblesville 49 in that tournament. Fishers defeated Castle 67-61, and then Westfield in their tournament 63-53 winners over Mooresville, and they followed it up with an 85-53 victory over Providence Cristo Rey. And Zionsville won their Zionsville tournament, defeating Decatur Central in the first game. Decatur Central, the Hawks, have been a strong team this year, but Zionsville wins 69-62, and then they wrapped up the championship defeating Franklin Central 54-22. New Year's Day, a couple of games involving HCC teams. Lafayette Jefferson fell to Valparaiso 56-44, while Zionsville defeated Richmond 59-45. January 2nd saw Avon knock off Plainfield 59-46. That was opening round of the Hendricks County tournament. Fishers defeated Lebanon last night by the score of 65-49. Games of tonight: Fishers is at Westfield, Lafayette Jefferson is at Zionsville, Noblesville is at McCutcheon, and Avon and Brownsburg are in the Hendricks County tournament tonight over in Danville. Games tomorrow: Hamilton Southeastern, they are at Muncie Central to take on the Bearcats. Logansport will take on these same Harrison Raiders at Harrison. McCutcheon is at Kokomo. Westfield is at Carmel. Zionsville will be at Frankfort. And, of course, either Avon or Brownsburg advances, they will be playing tomorrow in the Hendricks County tournament. Our score at the half is 24-13 in favor of the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. Both these teams not shooting the ball particularly well. The Royals led 11-10 after the end of the first quarter with some balanced scoring throughout. And then they outscored the Raiders 13-3 in the second quarter. The Raiders failed to make a single shot from the field, instead getting all 3 points from the charity stripe. It actually went 2 or 3 minutes before either team could manage a field goal, and the Royals head to the break leading 24-13. Leading scorer in tonight's contest so far at the half, Zach Irvin with 11 points. Eric Davidson has 5, Tyler Jenkins 4. Wade Traeger and Tyler Janney have 2 points apiece. For the Raiders, their leading scorer with 4 points is Bobby Rogers, 3 points for Noah Thomas, and 2 points each for Mark Houston, Zeb Halsema, and Jacob Bauer. For the Raiders, as I mentioned, they played Avon earlier this year, and free throw shooting was their Achilles heel in that game, and they're not doing much better tonight. In the second quarter, they hit 3 out of 8 free throws, and they find themselves trailing by 11. For Hamilton Southeastern, they've only made 3 trips to the line, all of them by Zach Irvin. He's 2 of 3 from the charity stripe. So we're ready for the second half action here at Hamilton Southeastern before a full day of basketball tomorrow. As we'll tell you about it as the second half progresses. To begin the second half, it'll be the same starting 5 for Coach Satterfield. It'll be Paul Furlan, Eric Davidson, Zach Irvin, Tyler Jenkins, and Ross Risley. And the same starting 5 for the Raiders: Bobby Rogers, Jacob Payne, Cole Smith, Jacob Bauer, and Noah Thomas. Royals have the basketball to begin this third quarter, up by 11. And Paul Furlan takes the pass from Tyler Jenkins. Both teams have played man-to-man defense throughout this contest, as Risley with the ball to Furlan. Zach Irvin off a curl comes around to the wing, now drives in the lane. A little right-hand layup is up and good. And Zach Irvin has the first 2 Royals points of the second half. He has 13, and that is where the lead stands. And now a kick ball as Jacob Bauer puts it off of the foot of Zach Irvin, and the Raiders will maintain possession. 26-13 after the Irvin layup. As Payne gives the ball left side to Bauer, back to Payne, up top to Smith. Smith working against Davidson, now picks up his dribble, looks to pass it. He finds underneath Jacob Payne. Payne gets Risley up in the air. Risley comes down on Payne, and Payne feeling a little bit of pain after that foul. For Ross Risley, that's his 3rd personal, and he will leave as Justin Barksdale returns. Ross yet to dent the scoring column, and Barksdale will take over after Risley picks up his 3rd personal. First team foul against Southeastern in the second half. Raiders with the basketball as Bauer triggers the inbound, finds Bobby Rogers guarded by Paul Furlan. Right side to Smith. Cole Smith with the basketball, up top to Payne. They will go left side to Rogers as now the Royals out of the inbound go to a zone, 2-3 zone. Bobby Rogers nowhere to give the ball. He does find Cole Smith. They go underneath. They find Jacob Payne, and as Payne gets the basketball, he's going to be bumped by Tyler Jenkins, and Jenkins will commit his 2nd personal foul, 2nd team foul against Southeastern in the second half. For the Raiders, they've now gone over a quarter without a field goal, and now pass is stolen on the inbounds by Paul Furlan. Furlan left side to Irvin. Irvin turnaround right-hand jump shot is up and good. Irvin with 15 points, and the lead goes to 28-13. And the shot is up and good by Noah Thomas. Substitution as Songarath will come in. Thomas will leave. Rogers has the basketball. He gets it into the front court as Jacob Bauer has it. And now another whistle and another foul is going to be called against Hamilton Southeastern. And now Jacob Bauer very slow to get up, and they will call for the trainer to come over and take a look at him. As the foul is going to go against Justin Barksdale, and that is, they're taking a look at Bauer right now over here on the court near the baseline. 6:13 remains in this third quarter. Right now, Hamilton Southeastern up by 13 points as they take a look at Jacob Bauer. And Bauer looks like he needs a little bit of help. They might be looking at his left ankle, and now they will try to get some of the JV players off the bench to help him get, as he's putting very, very little weight on that left ankle, left knee. Trainer looked like he was looking at the left ankle, and they're just going to take over to the Raider bench, and Zeb Halsema will come in to replace Bauer. In the meantime, the foul was against Justin Barksdale. And Talon Sondgerath is at the line. And he misses the first. Again, that's been the story for the Raiders, not able to make free throws. They trail by 13. This could be a much closer game if they've just hit a couple of more free throws. Sondgerath finally gets one to fall. He is 1 of 4 from the free throw line. And it's a 12-point lead for the Royals. Eric Davison lost it for a moment, picked up by Jenkins. Jenkins feeds Barksdale. Barksdale back to Jenkins. 3 from the corner is in. Jenkins with 7 points, and the lead's 31-16, a 15-point Southeastern advantage. Here's Smith, finds Sondgerath. Sondgerath, he hits the bottom of the rim, puts it back up. It's long, and as Furlan gets the rebound, he's going to be tied up by Cole Smith. And the foul will go against Smith and the Raiders. His first team foul against Raiders in this second half, as the Royals have 3 team fouls, as we have 5:37 still left to play in the third quarter. Hamilton Southeastern up by 15 once again. Eric Davison, nice crossover dribble, right hand, can't finish it, and pulling down the rebound is Zeb Halsema. Gives it to Rogers. Rogers puts the shot up, rolls around, gets it to fall. Rogers with 6 points for the Raiders. Again, the Raiders, a team that spreads out their offense scoring-wise. Rogers, their leading scorer, is under 10 points a game. Nice find. Tyler Jenkins left it off for Barksdale. Barksdale couldn't finish it as he rolled it off of the back flange. Payne with the basketball. He goes left side to Halsema. Halsema finds Sondgerath. Shot rejected by Irvin. And going back up and not getting the ball to fall, but getting the foul is Cole Smith. Barksdale picks up his second personal foul. That's the 14th foul, as the fouls have come quickly for the Royals in the second half. First free throw is up. It is good for Smith. Mark Houston returns for the Raiders, and before Smith will have his second free throw, we'll have a Royals 30-second timeout. 4:46 left to go third quarter. Royals up front, up by the score of 31-19. This is Royals basketball on ASL. Reminder, a full day of Royals basketball tomorrow. We'll start it off with the ladies as Coach Huppenthal's team travels to Lafayette to take on the McCutcheon Mavericks. JV game starts at noon. Varsity game at 1:30. Yours truly with the call, and we'll wrap it up in the evening as we go from Lafayette to Muncie, as Coach Satterfield's squad will take on the Muncie Central Bearcats. JV game scheduled to start at 6, varsity at 7:30. Do everything in our power to make sure we're there at the start of the JV game, but it's a long trip from Lafayette to Muncie. Cole Smith back at the line for his second free throw. It's no good. Irvin with a rebound. They find Eric Davidson, who'd leaked out, and it's an easy 2 points for Hamilton Southeastern. So the Royals lead 33-19, and now Smith throws it away. Here's Davidson. He'll take it the other way. He'll throw it up. Shot won't go, but Eric will head to the free throw line as the foul looks like it's going to go against Jacob Payne, which would be his second. Second team foul against the Raiders here in the second half, and Eric Davidson is at the line. Davidson with 7 points, make it 8 as he hits the first of 2. His first trip to the charity stripe. First Royal other than Zach Irvin to shoot a free throw here in tonight's game. And Davidson's second free throw is good. 9 points for Eric Davidson. A 35-19 lead for Hamilton Southeastern over Harrison as we have 4:20 left to play third quarter. Into the corner, here's Halsema for 3. So Halsema picks up the 3 and will make it a 13-point Southeastern lead. Furlan drives, kicks out to Tyler Jenkins. Jenkins' 3 is a little long. Houston has the rebound for the Raiders. Raiders looking to cut into this 13-point Southeastern lead, and as the pass from Smith looked like he was looking for Mark Houston, overthrew Houston. Jenkins poked it out of bounds. Smith will leave. And coming back in is Jacob Payne. 35-22, 3:43 left to go third quarter. Here's Payne with the basketball. Looking underneath for Thomas. Thomas and Barksdale jostling underneath. Ball goes out of bounds. They'll say it went off of Paul Furlan, and we'll keep it down here at the Harrison end. They'll throw it into the backcourt to Bobby Rogers, and Rogers will bring it back into the front court. Left side to Payne. Ball fake, leaves it to Houston and throws it away. Payne expecting Houston to make a baseline cut. Houston didn't, and they throw the ball away, and the Royals will have the basketball. Furlan across the timeline, left side. This is Barksdale to Jenkins, back over to Furlan. Furlan looks at Barksdale on the low post, but will give it to Irvin as they swing the ball around to Davidson left wing. Back to Tyler Jenkins. And now the ball snatched out of the air by Bobby Rogers on a nice play. Rogers will back it out as the double team comes now, rolls it over to Houston. Houston to Thomas, guarded by Barksdale. Double team comes, he'll kick it out. And the shot from about 14 feet is good by Zeb Halsema. Halsema with 5 points in the quarter, 7 points in the game. And it's an 11-point Southeastern lead with 2:52 remaining in this third quarter as the Raiders have battled back. Good defense by the Royals, but Raiders able to get it over to Halsema, who cans the jumper to cut it to an 11-point deficit. Raiders doing a little bit better job from the field here in this third quarter. But the Royals have still managed to add 2 points to their lead. They led by 9 at the half. They lead by 11 with 2:52 left to go in this third quarter. Paul Furlan into the front court, leaves it to Barksdale. Barksdale finds Irvin in the low post, and as Irvin goes up on the entry pass, he's going to be held by Houston, I believe, is who they're going to call on the foul. That'll be his first 13 foul as Tyler Janney will come in. Paul Furlan will take a seat. And Zach Irvin will trigger the inbounds. He'll get it over to Tyler Jenkins. Jenkins to Janney. Janney to Tyler Jenkins as the pair of Tylers out there. Jenkins will dribble. Looks right side, finds Davidson. And Davidson will back it up as the Royals will reset the offense. Davidson to Jenkins. Jenkins to Barksdale. Barksdale finds Jenkins cutting through the lane, but Jenkins too far under the basket, is off the bottom, gets the ball back though, leaves it to Furlan, and Furlan finishes it. Excuse me, it wasn't Paul Furlan, that was Eric Davidson cutting through. And credit the basket to Davidson, he has 6. Now a steal, here's Furlan. Davidson to Irvin. Irvin throws it down with a right hand. A little alley-oop from Eric Davidson to Zach Irvin. Irvin finishes it off. It's a 15-point Southeastern lead. Here's Mark Houston all alone underneath the basket. He finishes it with a little right-hand hook. Jenkins with the basketball. A 13-point lead for Hamilton Southeastern with 1:25 left to go third quarter. Jenkins, a little hesitation dribble and pulls up for the jumper. Good little move by Tyler. He was motioning Janney to come over as he was going to hand him the basketball, and then simply took a couple of steps on a hesitation dribble and canned the pull-up jumper. There's a traveling by Thomas that's overlooked. Janney with the basketball, and then Thomas tackles him. For Noah Thomas, that's his first. It'll be the fourth team foul against the Raiders. Wade Traeger will come in. He'll come in for Tyler Jenkins as Houston and Payne leave. Cade Reneker and Talon Sondgerath back in. Noah Thomas also leaves. And Cole Smith has also returned for Mark Reinhardt's Raiders. Nice find as Davidson cuts through the lane, gets the ball, and leaves it off for Justin Barksdale to finish off the play. 45 seconds left. 3-ball top of the key by Halsema. No good. Here's Irvin with a rebound. Zach finds Davidson, and Eric will pull it back out. He finds Traeger. Traeger tried to wrap around to Barksdale, but threw it away. And the Raiders will have the basketball with 26 seconds remaining in the third quarter, trailing 43-26. Bobby Rogers gets around Irvin, who tried for the steal, finds Sondgerath. Sondgerath can't finish it, and the Royals come away with it. Traeger to Davidson. Davidson up to Irvin, an intentional foul called against Cole Smith. Irvin was up high. Smith went and grabbed him. The official immediately called an intentional foul. Smith doesn't agree. And Zach Irvin's going to have 2 free throws and the basketball. Smith with his second. Mark Reinhardt not agreeing, but as Zach went up for the alley-oop, Smith came hard across, and the official didn't waste any time. Zach misses the first. And now Coach Reinhardt looking for that same call on the other end. Zach hits 1 of 2, and now the Royals will have the basketball. Irvin, who had just was on the receiving end of another Eric Davidson alley-oop, flushed it with a right hand, and now Irvin is going to be called for an offensive foul as Cole Smith gets a little bit of redemption on that, I'm sure, in his eyes, as Irvin pushed off on the inbounds play. And now returning for Mark Reinhardt's Raiders, Jacob Payne for Talon Sondgerath. 10.2 seconds remain. 44-26 is our score, an 18-point Southeastern lead. Stolen by Tyler Janney on the inbounds. Wade Traeger, right hand, no good. Getting the rebound is Cade Reneker. Reneker still looking, gives it up, and that's the final play of the quarter. As Hamilton Southeastern, they led by 9 at the break. They lead by 18 going into the fourth quarter. Royals lead the Raiders 44-26. Back with the fourth quarter right after this is Royals basketball on ASO. played 24 minutes of basketball here at Hamilton Southeastern, and the Royals, who led by 9 at the break, have now doubled that lead. They lead by 18 as we head into the fourth quarter. Leading our scorers with 18 points, Zach Irvin. Tyler Jenkins with 9 points. Eric Davidson with 11 points. As the Raiders went dead cold from the field in the second quarter, missing all of their shots. They scored 13 points here in the third quarter, and they'll have the ball to begin the fourth. It'll be Bobby Rogers, Zeb Halsema, Jacob Payne, Talon Songarath, and I believe Cole Smith on the court. This is Rogers. We'll give you the Royals lineup in just a moment. Here comes the double team. And we're going to have a reach-in foul. And if it's against Ross Risley, that's number 4. Ross, tough time trying to stay on the court tonight. As seems like every minute he's been out there, he's been picking up a foul. It's Wade Traeger, Eric Davidson, Zach Irvin, Tyler Janney, and Ross Risley, the 5 for Coach Satterfield to begin the fourth quarter. They'll leave Risley on the court with 4 fouls. Songarath left side. This is Payne back to Songarath. Just underway fourth quarter, an 18-point Southeastern lead. Nice little find. Rogers as he finds Payne down in the low blocks, and Payne finishes it off. Jacob Payne finally gets his first 2 points of the contest. And Eric Davidson drives through the lane and gets the bucket. 13 points for Davidson as quickly the Raiders get it up and down the court. I apologize if we're a little slow getting the camera moving, but Harrison likes to get into the front court quickly. Here's Smith, right side, Halsema for 3. That's off the rim, no good. Janney with a rebound for the Royals. He will leave it to Irvin. Irvin cross court to Davidson all alone. 3 ball on its way is good. Eric, his second 3-point basket. It's a 21-point Southeastern lead with 6:41 left to play. Songarath has his pocket picked by Janney. Janney right side to Irvin. Irvin lays it up and in. And that's going to cause Mark Reinhardt to quickly call a timeout, as what was an 18-point lead is now a 23-point lead, as the Royals go on a 7-2 run to begin the fourth quarter. They lead the Raiders by the score of 51-28. 6:33 remains left in this contest. This is Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. As I mentioned earlier, our next broadcast will be tomorrow. Full day of basketball. Lady Royals will be at McCutcheon for an afternoon matinee. And then the Coach Satterfield squad will go to Muncie Central to take on the Bearcats in the evening. Cheerleaders with a nice little routine and get a good reaction from the crowd here. Next home game for Coach Satterfield's squad will be next Friday night when the Brownsburg Bulldogs invade Hamilton Southeastern. And for those of you that have been living under a rock, of course, the new coach of the Brownsburg Bulldogs is former Butler standout Ronald Norad, a member of 2 national championship game playing teams. He is now the head coach of the Brownsburg Bulldogs. And as any first-year coach, Bulldogs having a bit of a rough year this year, but he's already gotten one big win under his belt when they beat Zionsville. Raiders with the basketball. As usual, you see a lot of Raiders on the court. Here's Cole Smith doing everything but getting the 2 points. Janney outlets to Traeger. Traeger will leave it off to Risley. Risley misses the shot. Rogers comes away with it for the Raiders. Rogers doesn't have the numbers on a 1-on-3, kicks it out. Here's Jacob Payne driving baseline, and with a nice little right-hander, he lays it up and in. 4 points for Jacob Payne. A 21-point lead for the Royals. Zach Irvin's 3 is no good. Songarath with a rebound. Noah Thomas set to check in for the Raiders on the next dead ball, and the ball goes out of bounds, and it'll belong to Hamilton Southeastern. Songarath will leave, and Thomas will come in, and Coach Mark Reinhardt wants somebody to check. Coach Reinhardt's not been the biggest fan of these officials tonight. And he's not going to get a whole lot of satisfaction there. 51-30, 5:37 left to go in this contest. Here's Zach Irvin. Nice little hesitation dribble. Pull-up jumper from 14 feet is up and good. Zach had a bit of a slow start with only 4 points in the first quarter, but he scored 7 in the second, 7 in the third, and has 4 already here in the fourth. Driving baseline is Payne, leaves it for Houston. Houston's layup is no good. Gets his own rebound. The putback is no good. Traeger with the rebound. Tyler Janney, spin move in the lane, wrap around to Risley. Risley puts it up, gets the bucket, and draws the foul. Ross Risley with his first points as he missed the initial shot but got his own rebound, and Coach Satterfield ready to flip the lineup here in just a moment. Risley will be at the line. Everybody else is leaving as Justin Barksdale, Keegan Culp, Tyler Jenkins, Paul Furlan come in, and Nick Wethington will come in for Ross Risley after the free throws. Risley's free throw is good, and now Wethington will come in. So Coach Satterfield flips the lineup. So a fresh set of legs for Coach Satterfield's Royals as they lead by 26. Cole Smith with the basketball, tries to spin on Jenkins, gives the ball up to Rogers. Rogers spins in the lane. Right-hander goes up. Can't get the bucket, but he's going to head to the free throw line. Keegan Culp will be called for his first personal. It is the 7th team foul against Hamilton Southeastern, and Bobby Rogers at the line to shoot a pair. He is 2 of 2 from the line so far tonight and make it 3 of 3 as he remains perfect. Zeb Halsema comes in. He'll take over for Cole Smith. Cade Reneker set to check in should Rogers make this free throw. And Rogers finally misses one as Wethington has the rebound. 56-31 as Furlan's three is long. Ball is still loose on the court. Wethington ties it up, and Coach Satterfield gets the timeout. A 30-second timeout with 4:34 left to go in this contest, and Hamilton Southeastern well out in front. They lead 56-31. We mentioned that the Raiders have had issues scoring points most of this season, as they have had times they have had these droughts like they did in the second quarter where they didn't hit a field goal and had to rely on 3 free throws and still missed 5 of the. They had 8 free throws. They made 3, missed 5. And for the Raiders, they have had a very, very poor shooting night from the line. And combine that with a poor shooting from the field. Here's almost a lost ball. Furlan was able to track it down. I think the ball was intended for Nick Wethington. He didn't pick it up. Here's Tyler Jenkins. And the ball will go out of bounds. And the ball belongs to Harrison. Here's a foul away from the ball as Nick Wethington. Foul will go against Wethington. That's his second. 18 foul against Hamilton Southeastern. As at the line shooting the 1-and-1 was Noah Thomas. He misses, as has been the case for most of the night for the Raiders. They trail 56-31 halfway through the fourth quarter. Jenkins drives right side, now backs it out. Finds Wethington alone underneath, and Nick Wethington finishes it for his first 2 points of the night. And now the ball thrown away as Jacob Payne looking for Mark Houston, threw the ball away. Houston not looking. And both Houston and Payne will head to the sideline. Chris Ford now in. He'll take over for Tyler Jenkins as Coach Satterfield now starting to get many of his bench players some minutes. Right now, Paul Furlan, the only starter, still on the court. And he will bring it into the front court. Left side to Barksdale to Wethington, back to Furlan. Paul, one of the few Royals not to get into the scoring column tonight. And Coach Satterfield, I'm sure, is trying to see if he can get him a bucket. Keegan Culp to Furlan. Furlan drives, gives it up to Culp. Culp pull-up jumper is good. Keegan Culp. One official called it a 3, and the other correctly overruled him. It was a 2 as Culp had his feet on the line. Halsema will leave. Talon Sondegarath is back in. It's a 29-point Southeastern lead, 60-31. As now we're just counting down the minutes as we're approaching the 3-minute mark left to play in the game. Sondegarath looks down low, looking for Noah Thomas as Coach Reinhardt putting 2 bigs in, and now a whistle and a foul is going to go against Harrison. Noah Thomas will pick up his second personal foul. Mason Hankins and Brendan Burns will finally get some minutes here as Mason played earlier in the junior varsity game, as did Brendan, so both of them getting some minutes here as the Royals lead by 29. Here's Keegan Culp. He just hit that 2. Gives it up to Chris Ford. Chris Ford left side. Keegan Culp, 3-ball on the way. That one's long. Rebound comes down into the hands of Cade Reneker. Reneker loses the basketball as Ford came to meet him, then gets it into the hands of Culp. Culp to Ford, 3-ball on the way, rattles around but won't drop. Ball loose. Noah Thomas has the rebound, and the foul's going to go against Southeastern. We'll head to the other end to shoot free throws. It'll be the 9th team foul. Mason Hankins will hit the personal foul. At the line will be Noah Thomas. Hits the first, gets the bonus. Grant Leach now comes in. He'll come in for Keegan Culp. Meanwhile, Thomas with one more free throw. Second free throw is good. A 60-33 game as this one's all but over. As Coach Satterfield has cleared the bench. Here's Mason Hankins, and now a whistle away from the ball as a foul is going to call against, I believe, Noah Thomas. Let's see who the foul does go against. Actually, it'll go against the other big man, Talon Sondegarath. That's his third, 18 foul, and Brendan Burns at the line with a 1-on-1. First, that one rattles out. Thomas with a rebound for the Raiders. Raiders trail by 27. Here's a long-range 3 up, no good by Josiah Heath. Sondegarath has the rebound. Right side as the Raiders with their own. Here's a long-range 3 by Cade Reneker. It's no good. Pulled down by Mason Hankins. Hankins gives off right side to Leach. And now we'll have a traveling violation as Chris Ford got the basketball, and in trying to get it over to Mason Hankins, kind of juggled the basketball in his hands and shuffled the feet, and that's traveling. 1:45 left. 60-33 Southeastern. Reneker looks for somewhere to throw the ball. Finds Sondegarath finally. Sondegarath in the lane, back to Evan Bond, who's now in, and throwing up with a right hand is Noah Thomas, and Thomas gets the bucket.
Brendan Burns will be hit with the personal foul, his first. It is the 10th team foul. And re-entering is Keegan Culp as Nick Wethington will take a seat. Meanwhile, Thomas tried to convert the three-point play. And he does. Still a 24-point Southeastern lead with 1:25 remaining in this contest. Grant Leach with the basketball. Double team comes. He'll give it over to Culp. Keegan to Mason Hankins. Mason with the basketball leaves it to Leach. Three ball on its way. That one's off the rim. No good. Bond with a rebound. And he will give it to Reneker. Reneker into the front court. Right side to Bond. He's guarded by Chris Ford. We're under a minute left to play in the game. 60-36, all Southeastern here since really the second quarter. Driving down the right side of the lane and getting his first points is Cade Reneker. Still a 22-point lead for Hamilton Southeastern. As Hankins brings it into the front court, leaves it off for Grant Leach. Grant to Keegan Culp. Keegan pull-up jumper. That one's short. Reneker with a rebound for the Raiders. Under 30 seconds left to play. This is Josiah Heath over to Bond. Bond has the ball knocked away, and coming up with it is Keegan Culp. Culp on the break, 2-on-1, lays it up for Ford. Ford can't finish it, and the ball will be knocked out of bounds by Noah Thomas. Keegan tried to leave it upstairs for Chris Ford. Ford really couldn't finish the play. And with 10 seconds remaining, Mason Hankins is going to dribble this one out. 5 seconds remaining. Hamilton Southeastern is going to improve to 9-1 on the season and a perfect 4-0 in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. They defeat Harrison by the score of 60-38. Give us a few minutes. We'll be back with final figures in just a moment. This is Royals basketball on ASO. Back at Hamilton Southeastern High School, where the Royals have knocked off the Harrison Raiders to remain perfect in the HCC, a perfect 4-0, and improved to 9-1 on the season as the 6th-ranked Royals defeat the Raiders by the score of 60-38. It was a tight game for a quarter, and then the Raiders simply went ice cold in the second quarter. They couldn't hit a bucket to save their lives. Also couldn't make free throws either, as Hamilton Southeastern outscored the Raiders 13-3 in the second quarter to take a 9-point halftime lead. And then it was just all Royals from there. They outscored the Raiders 20-13 in the third, and on their way to a 22-point win against Harrison. Let's give you our final stats for tonight. First, for the visiting Raiders, leading the Raiders with 9 points was Bobby Rogers. 8 points, for Noah Thomas. 7 points for Zeb Halsema. It was 4 points each for Mark Houston and Jacob Payne. 2 points each for Cade Reneker, Jacob Bauer, and a point each for Cole Smith and Talon Songarath. Josiah Heath and Evan Bond played. They did not score. Leading for the Hamilton Southeastern Warriors, leading all scorers with 22 points was Zach Irvin. 16 points from Eric Davidson. 9 points from Tyler Jenkins. It was 3 points from Ross Risley, 2 points each from Nick Wethington, Tyler Janney, Keegan Culp, Justin Barksdale, and Wade Traeger. Playing but not scoring was Paul Furlan, Chris Ford, Mason Hankins, Brendan Burns, and Grant Leach. Hamilton Southeastern led 11-10 after the first quarter, 24-13 at the break, 44-26 after 3, and the final score was the Royals defeating the Raiders by the score of 60-38. Hamilton Southeastern now 9-1 on the season. They have won their last 6. They are now 4-0 in the HCC, while Harrison snaps a 2-game winning streak. They fall to 5-4, 0-3 in the HCC. Our next Royals basketball broadcast on ASO will be tomorrow. Full day of both boys and girls action on ASO. We'll start out with Chris Huppenthal's Lady Royals as they travel to Lafayette to take on the McCutcheon Mavericks. The JV game will begin at noon. Varsity game set to begin at around 1:30, and we'll finish off the evening at Muncie Central as Coach Satterfield's Royals will take on the Bearcats. JV game set to begin at 6 o'clock. Varsity game set to begin at 7:30. All right here on Audio Sports Online. Both of those sets of games with the Lady Royals and the Royals will be audio only on tomorrow. Yours truly will have the call for all 4 games. Be a long day, but you should see some exciting Royals basketball. Once again, I want to thank you tonight for joining us for Hamilton Southeastern basketball. Hope everybody had a very good start to the new year so far for Coach Huppenthal's Lady Royals and Coach Satterfield's Royals. Both of them off to good starts here in the 2013 season. We'll see if we can keep it up tomorrow as the Royals go out on the road. Once again, our final score from Hamilton Southeastern, the 6th-ranked Royals defeat the Harrison Raiders by the score of 60-38. This is Brian Scott saying thanks for joining us tonight. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow on ASO. Until then, so long, everybody.